miles away.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Is it still morning? Yet we got 9 minutes left in the morning. So I was kind of exhausted after yesterday. I'll have to get used to that stuff. But happy Wednesday to you. I have a lot of messages this morning. A lot of messages. It's all right. It's not all about everything that happened yesterday. Okay, this cord is really bugging me. You are going away. There. I don't have to keep moving you constantly. Good morning. Oh, hi, Amber. It's good to see you. Yesterday was a good day. Today is a new day. It means, we had success yesterday. All right, but that was yesterday. It's now over with. Still kind of excited, but it's over with. It's done. Now we go back to the question that we should be asking ourselves each day. What am I going to do today to make the world a better place? I'm one cat away from becoming a crazy cat dude. Yeah, see? Let's get these right, dude. I know, lady. Lady. How many songs are named Lady? From the 70s. All right. How many songs are named Lady?
There are many songs that feature lady in the title. Some popular examples include
148. That was the quick answer. Now, it doesn't mean all of them are popular. What do you think is the most popular lady song? I'm gonna go with Kenny Rogers. That's gonna be my pick. What was the most popular song named Lady?
The most popular song called Lady is the 1980.
I did not know that. Did you know that Lionel Richie wrote Lady for Kenny Rogers to sing? There we go. Not surprising. Lionel Richie wrote most of the music in the 80s. Between him and Michael McDonald, right? So, Styx, I would say that was number 2. I'd say that was probably the second one. That was the other one at the top of my head, was the Styx version of Lady. And we have Kenny Rogers. Yeah. It's a great song. Now you're going to go listen to it. Michelle says, I did ask that. What can I do to help someone? There you go. I'm going to be going to the detox meeting tonight and flipping tables. That's what I'm going to be doing to make the world a better place. They're not expecting what I'm bringing. I'm not bringing the question. The question isn't whether we should have the detox in Commerce City or not, because the answer is no. No. They found the cheapest place they could find in an area that's run down. No. My answer is no. Keep looking. Do your job. Due diligence. Okay? So I'll go there and motivate them a little bit. Do better. It's been 3 years, and this is what you handed us. This is what I would call laziness. It is you continuing to spend money on a project so that you can continue having a job. When Dion's not going to go for it. I'm not okay with that. This detox should have been out 2 years ago. This year, they did nothing All year, they didn't have one meeting on it except last January in 2025. That was a year ago. Oh, we finally got a place. You know, it's in Commerce City. Okay. Remember the old one in Commerce City, Wash House, how it stinked? How do you remember? And it wasn't the alcohol that was stinky, it was the gas place next door. Daryl's good afternoon, Leisure. Daryl says Sticks played at my girlfriend's senior prom, my junior. I went to school with two of them. Now, that's awesome. That is a cool story. Yeah. And he says I'm that old. That's a cool story. Yeah. And I'm assuming that was when it was the original lineup. So, all right. Little controversy in this band, in that band. Yeah. Then the lead singer went off on his own, did some solo stuff. Sticks tried to find another singer, didn't quite work. What was worse was CCR. I remember I went and bought a CCR album. It was Greatest Hits, but I didn't notice that it said Clearwater Revisited, not Revival. And as soon as this music started playing, I could tell it wasn't the singer. I knew it wasn't him. I was so mad about that. Oh, should we go back to Reddit for our jokes today? They did pretty good yesterday. Kind of they were some were teetering. Some were teetering. Right. All right. You ready? You know what time it is? It's time for Dion's Daily Funnies, which seem to be working. Out of everything that I brought new here, seems like the only thing that really stuck was the funnies. I tried some music. Nobody cared. They're like, Dion, we don't come here for fluff. So I will do my best not to bring any more fluff to the Daily Trudge. I apologize for trying to be a better person. Did you know that as a boxer, I had the worst defense ever? Yeah, hands down. Worst defense ever. I think I was born upside down. My feet smell and my nose runs. You might think this is funny, but it's not. It's not funny. It's not funny. Right. Some of these are a little too long. My wife said she's leaving me because of my Star Wars obsession. So I said, may the divorce be with you. Kind of sad today. I heard it's a rumor, but it's a rumor that's probably true, that my favorite singer in the world, he messed up the words in concert the other day because he was too drunk. Makes me sad. Ed Kowalczyk, throw some prayers out for him. He clearly needs some help. What sucks is when you go listen to his music, it's extremely spiritual. So I hope he finds his higher power and comes back. All right. As a kid, I connected all the polka dots on our Dalmatian. Remarkably, it was a dog. Turned out it was a dog. How many optometrists does it take to screw in a light bulb? 1 or 2? 1 or 2? Get it? Because I asked you. 1 or 2? They're laugh tracking. Let's get to this. There we go. All right, not timing people start laughing. All right. One more. That people are mad enough to eat veggie burgers is just beyond me. Is beyond meat. That's just stupid. Let's do a different one. Oh, this one says it's classic. My wife was giving me the silent treatment after an argument in the car. She saw a field of cows and muttered, "Your relatives?" I said, "Yes, in-laws." All right. Yes, those cows are my in-laws. Let's keep it simple. This is one of my favorite stories. Actually, I don't know that's necessarily my favorite story, but it's a moving story. And we're going to cover the story itself, and we're going to talk about let's keep things simple because we really do. I see a lot of meetings and people not keeping it simple, man. Yeah. Um, your best bet is just to follow the directions in the book, right? If it's not in a big book, gotta be in the big book. Almost every answer to every problem is in this book. Okay? But you gotta look. You gotta be open-minded. You gotta be willing. You gotta keep it simple. That's why we need a guide. Nope. Nope. That's not what we're talking about. You're way overthinking this. You're way over because that's what alcoholics do. We think that our intelligence is supreme when really my intelligence, well, got me drunk. All right. So we're going to be going to AA Comes of Age 214. And this is kind of a sad story. I tend to tear up a little bit when I go through it. All right, here we are. I remember suggesting that if I did not act on this matter, well, what matter is he acting on? Let's see if we can go back a little bit here. All right, I'm going to go back a little bit here. Only a few weeks later, I saw Dr. Bob at Akron and was able to bring the good news that the trustees would, in all probability, consent to at last to the formation of the World Service Conference. That'd be the one in 1965. Unfortunately, Dr. Bob did not make it. This development could do for AA services what the traditions are doing for AA unity. Dr. Bob was visibly relieved by my message, but he made no immediate comment. Though still up and around, he was desperately ill. Hard as it was going to be, I realized that I must press for his consent to the conference. Absolutely. Dr. Bob is the other half of this, and we need, right? We need that. I remember Michelle says, "Got to go shopping before the storm." Are you guys getting a storm down in Texas there? Ooh, yeah. See, don't give these other states a hard time when they get snow. They're not used to getting snow. They don't have snow plows. They don't have salt and snow tires. Okay, even an inch of snow will throw the whole city off. So let's keep that in mind, Coloradans. Right. All right. I remember suggesting that if he and I did not act on this matter but continued our silence, we would all still be taking action. Oh, Rush said it, right? Sometimes no action is the action. If we both passed off the scene without making any move, everybody would suppose that the present state of affairs met our full approval. If thereafter the headquarters should collapse for lack of conference leakage, that AAs would rightfully say, why didn't Dr. Bob and Bill tell us? Why didn't they give us a chance to look after our own business and policies? I ventured the idea that we ought to call the conference anyhow, even if it was a failure at first. I'll let you know now, it wasn't a failure, it was a resounding success. Okay. It's where our traditions came out. It's where the responsibility, no, actually, the traditions came out in 1950. My bad. I apologize. The 1965 conference is when the responsibility statement came out. Everything was starting to be solidified. See, it took 20 years. It took a very long time. Okay, we're at 65, 39. Let's go to 40 because 25, 26, 20, almost in between 25 and 30 years to finally figure out what Alcoholics Anonymous really needed to be. And even then, God continues to tell us more. So when I see somebody who's 2 years sober saying I've got this great new system. It's like, it's not tried. It's not true. You don't know that. What is your success rate? Right? So the movement delegates could come down to New York and see what AA world affairs were really like. Then they could then decide whether they would take responsibility or whether they would not. That would make a movement decision rather than one taken in silence by Dr. Bob and me. See? Okay. I would not want to be in this position. No, I wouldn't. Even for all my need of liking of being the center of attention, I would not. God picked these two people and he did it for a reason. And I trust God. He did it for a reason. These things are divinely inspired. That means that God was there. Okay. I don't even necessarily think that Bill and the first 100 wrote the big book. I believe that God wrote the big book. They're the messengers. I believe that. Whether it's true or not, it brings me comfort. It brings me comfort, and I have trust in Bill and Bob to do the right thing, because what did they do? They sought out other people. They didn't make the decisions themselves. They brought it to the group to see what they thought. There's a lot of stories in the 12 by 12 that say, hey, we're going to try this. And then somebody spoke up and said, what are we really doing here? And then they found the right answer. Speak up, even if it goes against the grain in your groups. Speak up. If it's not the right thing, speak up, say something. All right. That would make it a movement decision rather than one taken in silence, right? He continued to reflect, and I waited. Finally, he looked up and said, Bill, it has to be AA's decision, not ours. Let's call the conference. It's fine with me. It had to be a group decision. So let's get together. Let's do the vote. That is my decision. My decision is I'm not going to make the decision. The decision is that we're going to do this as a group. Beyond that, and what are they having? A group conscience. Okay. Who else do we bring in when we do our group conscious? God. We invite God into those. Absolutely, we do. We do it on an individual basis with our own higher powers, and then as a group. Now you got double the God. Actually, more than that. Because when you have 20 people geared towards the same intention, especially when they're alcoholics, you can move mountains. I know. I watched it happen. I've been a part of it. I'm a part of it right now. My home group moves mountains, man. You guys may not see it yet. It really depends on how much of the program you've done, on whether your eyes are open, if you can see the forest for the trees. It's a beautiful group. People don't quite understand why they feel so attracted to that group. It's a closed meeting, but anyone is fucking welcome. Yeah. We will. We'll change things around. We'll take a vote if we need to real quick. I guarantee the group is going to be like, no, we want you here. Yeah. It's beautiful, man. Right? So, I mean, making a change was something. I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but I was pretty big on people, going to the right place. But I've accepted the fact that AA is the grandpappy, and that's where a lot of people are going to land, and we can help them get to their place, find their place. It's part of it. That is part of being the alcoholic and being an Alcoholics Anonymous. Isn't it cool? Now everybody wants to be like us. It used to be everybody's like, no, I don't want to do it. That part. Now everybody's like, oh, I want what that. Look at AA. AA is awesome. And see, look at what you get. Is that cool? All right. Man. It says it's down to 1, but I don't believe that at all. It's bouncing around. Been a while since there were 15 people here yesterday. That is the most I've ever had. Thank you for coming out in droves. Thank you. I would have to say, even out of the interview and everything else, the fact that 15 people showed up to it actually makes me happier than the actual interview itself. All right. Jeff Allen's forgotten about me. Okay. He's moved on. He probably had a show. No, he didn't have a show last night. We caught him in between shows. Is that cool? All right. Cool guy. Okay. A few hours later, I took my leave of Dr. Bob's, knowing that the following week he was to undergo a very serious operation. Neither of us dared say what was in our hearts. This is the sad part. This is the hard part. We both knew that this might well be the last decision we would ever make together. I went down the steps and then turned to look back. Bob stood in the doorway, tall and upright as ever. Some color had come back into his cheeks, and he was carefully dressed in a light gray suit. This was my partner, the man with whom I had never had a hard word. The wonderful, old, broad smile was on his face, and he said almost jokingly, "Remember, Bill, let's not louse this thing up. Let's keep it simple." I turned away, unable to say a word. That was the last time I ever saw him. So, if you're not getting chills, you may not catching the whole message. Maybe I'm getting chills because I read it out loud and I can feel it. And that stuff gives me chills. Those were the last words that Bill and Bob had together. Hey, Bill, let's not louse this thing up. Let's keep it simple. There's a lot in that. Actually, not hugely a lot. Yes, we got to keep. Most good ideas are simple. Why? Because simple is the truth. And without the truth, there's not much to work on. All right. So let's read the reflection. We'll talk a little bit about keeping it simple. All right. So we just read the part that is in here. We literally just read it. So I'm going to read the portion of the next part. You all read the daily reflection. You know what I'm talking about, right? So Alcoholics Anonymous comes of age, page 214. After years of sobriety, I occasionally ask myself, can it be this simple? Yes. Yeah. It may not be easy to get to that simple. Something may need to be described to you 15 different ways before you're like, oh, okay, now I get it. And why is that? Because we're alcoholics who have the cart before the horse, and we don't do simple. Simple kind of needs to be forced on us. We kind of need to be reminded that we're supposed to be keeping it simple. All right. When you pile on, and you're not keeping it simple, then it starts to feel overwhelming. Remember the beginning part when we're throwing everything at you? Oh, this is overwhelming. Yeah, it's supposed to be a little overwhelming. So you can learn how to keep it simple. Then at meetings, I see former cynics and skeptics who have walked the AA path out of hell by packaging their lives without alcohol into 24-hour segments. Yeah, day at a time. Keep it simple. These two things go together. Okay, a day at a time and KISS are two of the most used slogans in all of the world. Let's find out. Let's find out if I'm wrong or right. We're going to find out. What is the number one slogan in the world?
Nike's "Just Do It" is considered the #1 slogan worldwide.
Okay, just do it.
And motivating message.
Created in they're going based off commercials and companies, though. All right. I don't know how to ask it, but I'm going to find out. All right. During which they practice a few principles to the best of their individual abilities. And then I know again that while it isn't always easy, if I keep it simple, it works. It does. Even that 4-step needs to be simplified for us. Or you know what happens? You're on the 4-step forever. And it's not a good place to be. I'm certainly not going to sit here and tell you how to do your 4-step and stuff, because it's none of my business. It really isn't. If it's working for you, then it's really none of my business, right? So, so why does it matter that we keep things simple? Right? AA didn't survive because we were clever. No, it's not the way it worked. It survived because it stayed simple. And we have to continue to keep it that way. All right. See, AA's been kind of getting out of their lane with things like the plain English Big Book that was not voted on. There were a few people in archives made a decision. Okay. Now, does that mean that's how AA as a whole runs? No. I'm not going to be like, oh, AA is doing bad because these people decided. No. I've been around long enough that I know what an actual AA meeting looks like. You've been around long enough. You know what a meeting looks like. Find your meeting. Okay. Now I tend to think grassroots is the best because I go there, but it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's not. Maybe we're too nice for you. Maybe we're too welcoming. Maybe we're too inclusive. Could be. Yeah. Because I hear a lot of people say, oh, I'll be back for this. When do you guys meet? And then I don't see them again. Does that have to do with us? Not necessarily. What I'm hoping is they found a meeting where they really, really connected. That's what I'm hoping. If so, we did our job. We did our job because that's what God wanted. I love watching people move on. Okay. I do. So, growth always brings the temptation to complicate. Oh, well, I've got to think on this. Google says they did vote on it. On the plain English Big Book, yes, we did vote on it. The answer was no. So I'm gonna go check though, because if I'm wrong, I don't want to 91 to 38, 71 in favor of. Okay. Now I see what you're saying. Okay, so 91 to 38, let's say that's 130 people voted on it. Did your group vote on it? At any point, did your GSR come to your group and you guys took a vote on it? Did that happen? No. Do you know how many people are in archives? About 130 people. See, archives voted on it. They didn't go to the groups and do that. So, but I'm going to double check on it. And we're going to say at this moment, I am incorrect on that. That's what we're going to say. That's what we're going to go with. Because I don't know for sure. So I got to go check on that. Okay. Thank you, Amber. All right. So Bill wasn't afraid of failure. He was afraid of success. Yeah, I don't think I agree with that, ChatGPT. Right. So a couple of things before we get going here, though, because I do need to wrap up. I have a sponsee at 12:30. All right. A lot of this has to do with control and trust and allowing other things to happen. I think acceptance is a big part of keeping it simple also. But keeping it simple gears towards your peace of mind, because when you have peace of mind, you make better decisions, you treat people differently, et cetera, right? Yeah. Amber says, I don't have a single group that has a legit GSR, so I can't say. See, that's fair. Yeah, right. which is kind of a bummer. Yeah, it is. Grassroots doesn't have a legit GSR right now either. Okay? But we haven't filled up the schedule for once that schedule is full all the time, then we could talk about having a GSR. But until we have somebody that's chairing the meeting each day consistently, it'll probably wait. I don't know. That is my guess. That's what I think. Okay. But the group may think differently. And if the group thinks differently, that's probably what's going to happen. And then you know what I'm going to think? Okay, that's what's going to happen. But I ain't going to be GSR. If you vote for me, I'm going to respectfully decline on that one. GSR, I cannot do. Anyway, Amber says you're correct. Based on Google, they did not send this vote out to the groups. Okay, thank you for checking on that because I really don't want to lie. Otherwise, it's gossip, and I'm not doing gossip here. Fuck that. So, all right. Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I found out that people really appreciate that I say that. And I tell you, I mean it. I absolutely mean. Oh wow, now that is a link. That is a link. All right. Thank you, Amber. Appreciate that. Man, they really did some work on it. The link is that freaking big. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I got to wrap up. It's 12:22, by the way. What a great time to wrap up. I love you. You know I do. And I know how much you love me, too. Thank you for that. Peace out. Peace out. And let's remember, no one trudges alone.